Okay, welcome everybody. I think it's time to get started. Today's webinar is going to be on how to increase adoption of your B2B e-commerce site. My name is Scott Freimeyer. I'll be your host today. I'm with the team here at Unilog. For those of you who don't know, Unilog is a provider of e-commerce solutions to mid-market B2B companies. But we're not here today to talk about the Unilog e-commerce platform. Instead, we want to be able to give you guys some advice and practical experience shared by a customer of ours on how you could increase adoption of your B2B e-commerce site. Obviously, this is very topical. We have a lot of distributors in the market who still struggle to get maybe 2, 3, 5% of their online sales, online revenue, or I should say total revenue coming from their online channel. The ones who are really doing well might be in excess of 20, 25%, and best in class for some companies in our industry might be 50% of revenue coming from their online channel. So what can you be doing to help increase adoption of your site within your own customer base and drive more prospects to the site as well? Before we get started, before I introduce my guest speaker, just a couple reminders. First, we will have a copy of these slides and a recording of the webinar after this event. We'll send it out to everybody who registered. Also, we do encourage this to be interactive. Even though your microphones are muted right now, you can at any time submit a question via the chat or questions dialog box in your GoToWebinar panel there on your screen. So we encourage that. If we don't get to your question during the actual webinar, we'll have a session for Q&A at the end and try to get everybody's questions answered. Okay. With that, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Mike Powers. Mike is the e-commerce manager at Hill & Marks, a Unilog customer. He's been there for about 3 years or so and has quite an extensive background as a digital strategist working for multiple firms. So, Mike, welcome to today's presentation.
Hey, Scott, team at Unilog and folks online. I'm happy to be here.
Terrific. Hey, Mike, so I'm going to ask you, before you get into your experience and how you guys drove increased adoption of your B2B e-commerce site this past year, maybe just give us a brief background on Hill & Marks so we know a little bit about your company. And more important, could you share with everybody what were you guys trying to accomplish? Everybody has a different goal when they're in the e-commerce game. Some are trying to increase market share. Some are trying to decrease their cost per transaction. What were you guys looking to do? And I'll just hand things over to you at this point.
Fantastic. Great. So Scott, Hill & Marks, we are a third-generation family-run business in upstate New York. We're based in the capital region of upstate New York, just west of Albany. We service west to Buffalo, north to Plattsburgh and the Canadian border, and just north of New York City. And so we've been in business for approximately 112 years. And about 3 years ago, the decision was made by ownership here that Hill & Marks needed to be positioned for the new B2B buyer, digital natives, folks that are researching and looking for information using the web. And so that is when I was brought on as the e-commerce manager for Hill & Marks.
Great, and I will go ahead and you should have control of the keyboard and mouse at this point. I'll stop moving my mouse around and you should be able to drive the presentation from here.
Great, Scott, thank you. So on the next slide here, give me one moment, should be. Hey Scott, oh, here we are, perfect. So here is kind of a framework of the Hill & Marks e-commerce journey that I was part of. So as you can see here, in March of 2015 is when the company made the decision to hire an e-commerce manager. Now, a month prior to my hiring, there was some big news online about the mobile get-in update by Google, which meant that websites needed to be responsive for smartphones. And so right before I started, there was a lot of press and PR about websites needing to be used on smartphones. And so when I was brought on, the most important thing for me was to find a vendor that would allow for our website to be viewed on smartphones and tablets. At the time, and learning more about the business and the current infrastructure, we were on Infor storefront platform. Okay, and for us, looking at the platform, that mobile responsiveness was a must-have, as well as the rich product data. we were using another vendor to provide the product data on our storefront website. And the goal was to find a vendor in the marketplace that could provide both a B2B e-commerce platform, but also help us with that data enrichment process. So with that being said, the evaluation started in May of 2015, and happy to say we were able to sign on with Unilog in September of 2015. So that build process, for the folks that are on the line that are wondering what that process looks like, how long it takes, I know MDM, Modern Distribution Management.com, put out a kind of a survey of distributors saying that a typical build phase would be 12 to 14 months. That is exactly where we fell in line with our build process. And again, working with the Unilog team to understand SXE, which was our ERP, and also understanding some of the requirements that a handful of our customers had. And so that 14-month build took place. And I would say in September of 2016 is when we started the process of bringing on some beta customers. So one of the recommendations I have in your e-commerce journey is for customers that have unique functionality or needs, to get them on as early as possible. And so when we were rolling out our functionality for test, I wanted to reach out to some of our vendors and ask them to participate in testing of the functionality to get their buy-in. And that made us feel comfortable with going live in December of 2016. So once we went live, all of 2017 was a year of customer onboarding and trial and error, okay? And so, being a distributor that had a platform that we really didn't analyze the data, the traffic, how people were using it, we wanted to make sure that all of last year we would do things that would allow us to get intelligence on how the site works, which means implementing Google Analytics, and in my case, actually hiring a person that would manage the back end of our website, and including the product data. So that happened in March of 2017, and here we are today on the call, and having approximately 25% of our revenue going through our web, and happy with those results. So let me segue. So just to start off with kind of a win, we were able to target roughly 383 customer accounts that prior to going live with Unilog were calling in their orders, emailing their orders in some cases faxing orders in. So of those 383 accounts, that represented $1.38 million of online revenue for Hill & Marks. And I can attribute that to working not only internally with our sales team and management and customer service, but making sure our customers were part of the process as well. So the goal of this presentation or this case study, webinar, whatever you want to call it, is for me to share with those that are on the call today that may be starting the journey or have just gone live and are wondering what they should do. So I want to provide as much information on what we did here to share with the folks on the phone today. So really the customer onboarding strategy for 2017 was really simple. It was internal and external. What were the things we were going to do to get buy-in from the internal team as well as the external team? And so as you can see on this slide, the internal and external strategy was broken into, I would say, 4 silos for each, okay? The top priority internally was making sure that our customer service team was comfortable with the website. 50% of this business's orders were coming in through our customer service team. It was imperative for me to make sure that I was bringing them along on this journey. So whether it was the Thursday customer service morning meeting where I could go in and share functionality with them, I did whatever it needed to be done to introduce the website to them in bits and pieces so that they would get comfortable with it. with that being said, towards the end, you're provided a stage website. So each of our customer service folks were given a credential or registered on our stage website, and were able to take 5 orders and place them through the stage website with not having the fear of breaking something or placing a live order. So again, getting them comfortable with placing orders on our stage website was a huge win for us. And as you can see, I would say the one-on-one advanced training and some of the other things that I'll touch base in this presentation were all steps we took place to really get people comfortable with the site. Externally, those were our big wins when it came to how we were engaging with our customers and what we did to get them interested in our site. So let's get down to actually specific examples. As I just mentioned to you, we wanted to make sure people were comfortable with the website. So whether it was customer service meetings, whether it was when the sales reps were at a general sales meeting and there was vendors in-house demoing products, well, I had a breakout session where I was actually reviewing the functionality of the website, the ability to compare products. If a customer places an order and they want to share it with a supervisor or a coworker, I wanted to make sure that I was showing all of that functionality as much as possible to my internal team. Okay, and as I mentioned, having the team be comfortable, not fearing breaking anything, getting onto our stage website and using it as a training tool. Now, the advanced training, this is where, we had I'd say 5 to 10 customers that had unique functionality. So, for example, we have a university, a large Ivy League university in upstate New York that has approximately 60 buildings on campus. Each building has one manager that orders for Hill & Marks. So what they wanted to do was make sure that if anyone at that building is placing an order, that those orders would go to that approver. And so again, doing specialized training internally for my team to show how customers would use the multi-level approvers and also their shopping lists. Again, reviewing everything with as many people internally as possible. And so realizing 50% of orders are being called into customer service and 30% through the sales rep, we needed to make sure our first line of defense, these people were comfortable with everything that we were launching to our customer base. So from internal to customer facing and external. So I was fortunate enough to have during the winter break, actually spring break, one of our top sales reps' son, who goes to school up in Plattsburgh, New York, was looking for an internship. And I was trying to figure out a way, he wasn't interested in doing sales. He has a marketing degree from SUNY Plattsburgh. And I was trying to figure out ways, how can we use somebody that wants to be part of our team? And right away, creating a position, customer onboarding specialist. That was something that myself and our digital specialist came up with, to take this intern and say, listen, we are going to train you up on all of the functionality of the website. We're going to also make sure that we train you on frequently asked questions or maybe errors or issues that are typical amongst users of our website. And we're going to let you loose and put you on the road. And that's exactly what we did. So we took this person, and when it came to deploying him to the field, we were making sure that he was the point of contact for onboarding customers, making sure he's addressing any comments or concerns. And so that was a big win for us. On those days during the week where he was not on the road, we brought him into our multi-purpose training room, and he used our YouTube channel and created 1 to 2 minute videos on the functionality that we are deploying and training customers on, and uploaded those to our YouTube channel. And one of the benefits of that is now customer service and sales reps, if a customer has a question on how to order, the service rep, customer service rep, or sales guy can quickly send that link to the YouTube video, or we have some customer service reps in the signature of their email. They have how to register, how to shop, how to create a shopping list. They embed those links in their email to make that seamless migration possible. And so when it came to the customer onboarding specialist, we saw a huge spike in not only users registering on the website, but also new accounts that attributed to that $1.38 million. So due to the success of that onboarding specialist, we thought, what are some of the other ways we can get more and more customers on board? Again, back of my mind, and I've repeated 3 times on this call, 50% of our orders come through customer service. They are our first line of defense. In some cases, our customers have a very tight relationship with our reps. What can we do to get them to buy in and kind of move that needle for us? So we launched a customer service spiff, which was by far our most successful promotion. What we wanted to do was take the folks that were calling in their orders, guide them on our website to how to register, show them where their My Items or their products that they're buying, and walk them through how to place an order online. Now, the goal was to incentivize the customer service rep on that first order to get them registered and have the customer place an order. So we created a spiff where it was approximately $5 to $8 for that first order placed. And then for the next 2 to 3 orders that are placed through the website by that customer, this customer service rep was incentivized on. The goal was to get this user who is comfortable with calling in orders to have somebody walk them how to register. Even if next time they call back in, that customer service rep said, hey, listen, Mr. Customer, we got you registered. Let's do this one more time. And again, I'm here to help, but we want to make sure you're comfortable. And we actually saw a fantastic response. 25% of customers spoken to during the promotional period converted completely online. 75% were extremely excited. In some cases, they didn't even know that they had the ability to order online. In tracking this promotion, we had one gentleman who called in and said, you're telling me I can order online right now? He actually hung up and registered it and was able to place the order. So overall, from a customer service spiff, it was an extremely successful spiff. $1,000 investment correlated to over $100,000 in online revenue. And again, freeing up the time for our customer service team from being order takers to being customer service reps, cross-selling, upselling, guiding the customer journey. And so for us, I'm extremely proud of that first spiff that we conducted with our team. So in the back of my mind, I knew when we went live on December 12th of 2016 that launching a brand new website and not doing anything with it, we weren't going to be successful. The website is a salesperson in my eyes that's working 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Okay, and so it was imperative to make sure that we were doing everything in our power to promote this website. So one of my biggest recommendations for anybody that's on this call that has just gone live or is going live is, once you've hit that go live button, make sure that you're making yourself available and or your team to educate your customers on the website. So example, Scott's using GoToWebinar. When I first came on board as a Unilog customer, I was listening to their weekly webinars, and I thought to myself, why not do the same for our customers? So what we did was we used the event calendar functionality in Unilog, in the SIM. We did a weekly webinar from 10 to 11 a.m. every Thursday, and I did a high-level overview of the 5 to 7 pieces of functionality that our customers would be using on a daily basis. At the conclusion of that webinar, we used a Google survey to go out to those users and say, how was the content of the webinar? If there was anything else that you would like us to review, please let us know. And again, in this day and age, with the distributors having, e-commerce websites, Amazon, the more times you're able to have touch points with your customers, I think the better you're off. And so we got a ton of valuable feedback from those surveys. I would say on any given webinar, we'd have 10 to 15 to 20 attendees, and I'd get 90 to 93% response rates to those surveys. And so, again, many of our attendees loved what they were seeing, and that was huge for us. As a distributor in upstate New York that specializes in food service, Jansan, office supplies, industrial packaging, it was imperative for us that at our annual trade show to highlight our website. So off in the corner, away from the vendors and away from all the busy things that take place at a trade show, I actually had my own room monitor where I did the same exact presentation on those weekly webinars for all attendees that are at that seminar. And again, another touch point for our customers to show them, we're here to educate them. And again, that worked very well. Also, and again, I'm going to continue. One of the things you'll have to understand is there is a portion of your customer base that, whether it's in their own personal life, that just don't feel comfortable with ordering online. And so it's okay to tell those folks that are at these conferences, that are on the webinar, saying, hey, you may not be comfortable today, but if you want to use the website to educate yourself, look at product images, and call in your order, continue to do that. So, I'm talking today of all the successes we have, but there will be a portion of your customer base that may feel alienated, like you're pushing them there. Again, you're focused on giving them a tool to educate themselves. If they still feel like calling in the orders, they can do so. But again, I'm finding from our own internal data that the website is being used by those folks that are considered researchers as well. So again, back to some of the external strategies that worked for us. Again, that onboarding specialist that we brought in as an intern who created great content and was on the road, he was the one that created our YouTube videos. So as you can see on this slide, how to compare products, create a shopping list, saved cart. Guys, this is all of the functionality that is in the base Unilog platform, okay? So making sure that the functionality that is used along the buyer journey with the website, we wanted to make sure we documented all of that. In today's age, with YouTube and video being extremely popular, it was a good tool for us. So this has been pretty interesting for us. I would say over the last 6 months, I've seen a transition take place within my organization when it comes to social media, social selling, however you want to call it. As an e-commerce manager, when we created these YouTube videos, we were sending them just out to our specific customers. But then we started realizing through Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn that if we're able to share not only this great new investment, this new website, but other things that our businesses, other products and services our business is doing without really selling it, being viewed as a product expert. I would say in the last 6 months or so, we had 5 to 7 orders placed through our LinkedIn and Facebook pages. So not actually using it to say, buy this now, but using LinkedIn and Facebook to talk about the functionality of the website, maybe do product reviews. That's one of the recommendations on this webinar today I wanted to make, is that these platforms will actually also become sales tools. As Scott will mention at the end, it is an omni-channel experience. So you're not only going to get online sales from your website, you're going to get sales from social media platforms as well.
And Mike, I'm going to jump in here real quick, because what I find fascinating about this is, and it's not just the fact that you're taking orders via LinkedIn, which is terrific, but the effort here has not been relegated to just your marketing team, right? You actually have sales reps who have become very active in sharing things in their own LinkedIn feeds. whether it's product reviews or demonstrations or discussions about, the features, top 3 features of certain products. So I think that's definitely a takeaway, from my perspective. It's make sure you get your sales reps involved, and it's not just your marketing effort that's promoting this stuff on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. And Scott, the other thing, and I'll share this with everybody, whether it's somebody LinkedIn messaging, we had a procurement manager at a large university in Western Massachusetts go to our LinkedIn page and saw one of these videos, sent a LinkedIn message to, I don't know if it was Will or Dan, one of our, or any of our sales reps. It's happened multiple times. Hey, I saw the YouTube video on the top 3 features. We're not too far away. Can we get a demo please set up? And Facebook Messenger, we had people message in using the Facebook message, and then also people directly emailing our team as well.
Yeah, terrific.
All right. So with that being said, I think I'm going to transition here to the next slide where
Scott,
I'm going to hand it back over to you and kind of have do an overview of this for us.
Yeah, I'll take it back just for a second. In addition to what Mike is sharing that they've done at Hill & Marks, we obviously have a number of customers who have shared their experience and what's worked for them in driving e-commerce adoption. And I put together, it's hardly comprehensive, but just a quick little checklist of some reminders as you're looking to drive customers to your site. If you have a front counter, get a kiosk in there. Have your website available at your front counter so people are waiting in line, they can go over, do research, maybe even put the order in or try out the site for the first time. Obviously, having your URL branded everywhere on your invoices, on your packaging, anywhere you can think. I've seen customers of ours who have gone so far as to change the name of their company to match their URL. So they actually will call their company name .com, and they've gone that far because they put that much emphasis on the online channel. Punch out capability is another one, right? The ability for your customers to go from within their ERP or within their purchasing system and directly interface with your e-commerce site. And actually, Mike, I believe at Hill & Marks, you guys are taking advantage of this with some customers, right?
Absolutely. We have 2, and again, and I should have maybe highlighted that at the beginning, but we work very closely in the higher ed space, and we have 2 large universities in upstate New York that we are currently integrated with PunchOut. And so, basically having our catalog integrated with their e-shop so that users on campus can select our logo and place orders directly through to us has been a fantastic value add. Scott, I don't even know if you're aware of this. We, and this may not be a best practice, but we were so excited about the integration with PunchOut. We went live about 3 weeks ahead of our website with our PunchOut catalogs with both those universities. We're still working with them today, and I'm noticing that we're getting more and more users at those universities, getting involved with our product catalog.
Terrific. No, I did not know that, so that's good to know, and certainly Unilog can help customers there with that punch out capability in addition to the broader e-commerce platform itself. Mike mentioned spiffs for his customer service people. Obviously, any kind of sales incentives, discounts for online purchases, first-time purchases is something to consider. Making sure sales feels that they are incented to help drive people to that channel. Sales can often be an obstacle. We know that in getting people to adopt the site unless they see what's in it for them. So you definitely want to hit on that early on. Online collaboration tools, if there's some sort of chatbot or instant messaging or Mike mentioned Facebook Messenger, I think, on the social platform. But if there's something you can do on your site to, again, if people just need help with a quick answer, or they're trying to configure an item and they need some configuration help, whatever it may be, to have those online collaboration tools so it feels as in person as possible, right? Providing useful content is an absolute must. Mike touched on that as well, but having really rich descriptions for SEO purposes and informational purposes, the attributes, manuals, images, videos, CADs, whatever it may be, to enrich the item data on your site is going to help you better compete and get people there onto your website, and using that as an information resource. And one other thing I do want to bring up, keep in mind, if you haven't had products on an e-commerce site before, don't forget that you're now exposing, in many cases, your pricing to the customer for the first time. So go back into your ERP, make sure that information that you're bringing into your site is accurate for that customer. because I've had many people tell me you get one shot at this, and if your customer goes out to your site and they see pricing that says one thing, and then they call up the sales rep and they get a better price, you've just lost that person as an online buyer or visitor of your site, because they're always going to go back to your sales rep thinking they can get a better price. So make sure those things are all working together. And ultimately, this goes to the point of just making sure that these things aren't happening in silos, right? Your e-commerce initiative is not a silo. It's a company-wide division. It's not a company-wide effort. It's not a lone wolf project, right? It's not an IT project. It's not just an e-commerce group product. It needs customer service, sales, finance. Everybody needs to be working in this sort of, towards this omni-channel experience, where whether your customers are coming to you via physical means, in store, over the phone, or they're coming to your website, they should have a similar experience, similar information, and be able to transition from one to the other pretty seamlessly. So just keep that in mind. This is not about an e-commerce silo within your business. All right, Mike. So with that said, why don't you go ahead and share with us some of the results that you saw in the past year?
Great. So for us, this was kind of the high-level KPIs of our first year of trial and error, year of customer onboarding. We were extremely happy, and in all honesty, I have to attribute the success to not only the customer service spiff, really going to the front line of where our orders are coming in, the customer service team. I will say, we do have some sales folks that weren't comfortable with technology. They've been with us, 35, 40 years, in some cases very old school, but they were very much all about bringing Nick and our onboarding specialists along, because they realize, and I said at the beginning, the new B2B buyer is here. It's not coming. They're now starting to take over purchasing roles. And so I think a lot of our success was really targeting those B2B buyers in the best way that they are looking for information. And so for us, 26% increase in accounts ordering online. Really happy with the 25% of our revenue coming through our website. That was extremely important for us, and I'm proud to hang our hat up on that. The 70% and 95% increase in users and also accounts. Again, I attribute that to the webinars, the YouTube videos, the educating your customer service team. This can all be done, once you go live or even before going live, just making sure you're communicating with your team. And, at any possible chance, whether it's an internal sales meeting. I know one fact that happened was the webinars that we were doing for customers. The owner of my company and our regional sales managers every Friday are now doing webinars with their sales teams, because we have sales reps all across the entire state of New York. Buffalo's 6 hours away from us. Taking our reps off the road is something that was becoming a pain point. From the success of that webinar with our customers, we're now deploying internally in our sales strategy. So very happy with those percentages. But again, you mentioned in your last slide, Scott, the website has become a tool for our salespeople, our customer service team, not only to research, but to upsell, cross-sell. Our SDS sheets and manuals are being found in Google. So no, it wasn't all about just the external portion of this. The success was also internally, and I'm really proud of that as well. So again, to circle back around, 383 accounts that were responsible in our estimate. We were saying it takes 5 to 8 minutes to place an order, maybe 10 minutes. Roughly saved us close to 200 man hours by converting them online. So again, coming back to this particular slide, we are really excited about that. So what did we learn from those folks that were using the website? Again, I mentioned it earlier. You have a portion of your customer base that do not feel comfortable with ordering online or technology. So they're going to be the type that are using the website to research SDS sheets. They're looking at the comparing products. They're looking at navigating your taxonomy or the product categories on your website for potential new products. So the ability to identify that 10% of our customer base that are considered researchers, again, logging into the website, they're researching, they're jumping around, they're looking at their items, but they still feel comfortable with calling in the order. Scott, right before the call, we mentioned that for those of you that are on this call, these researches are now our second target market for a customer service spiff. So what can we do now to get those folks comfortable? It may be that they just do not want to place orders online, but I think if we are strategic and we do one more customer service spiff and or sales spiff, sales rep spiff, I think we'll be successful in getting those folks to order online as well.
Yeah, and I'll say, not just with customer adoption, but just overall success of any e-commerce initiative, having some sort of data analyst on staff is really beneficial. We've seen it with a number of our customers. Having somebody who can get in, not only be responsible for the product content and making sure everything's in line, but to look at the Google Analytics, to look at the trends, to do the business analytics around, who's coming to your site and how can we convert them into buyers, or are we getting a lot of abandonment on the shopping cart, right? How can we have alert sales so they can go back now and follow up with that person and see if they can carry that order over the finish line. So definitely another recommendation to take away. If you haven't already, consider having a data analyst on staff because it can bring huge returns for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because also, Scott, a lot of distributors, and when it comes to an e-commerce department or a digital marketing department, they may not have that department, or they may have one person, right? And so I will say, when I was sharing my journey with you, if you can get somebody that has some experience with Microsoft Excel or the ability to work with Access database, but it can work with large items of data. When I had our digital product specialist come on board, she was able to look at the last 3 to 5 years of sales data. We were able to kind of build customer personas, and that's been helping us now with doing content marketing. Understand who our customers are, and by having somebody come on the team, I highly recommend, and just like Scott said, I would recommend trying to get that person. So again, I've mentioned this a couple of times. This slide just says is here to show you that we were able to identify and the traffic within my building that is on the website using it for their own resource. Extremely useful. Our customer service and sales folks are sending SDS sheets to their customers. They're sending links to product detail pages. So it is really become a tool or a major resource for our team. So the takeaways, I don't know if there's anybody that is is a counterpart to me, whether they're an e-commerce manager or they're somebody within the organization that's going to be driving this objective. Listen, you will face resistance, whether it's going to be from customers or seasoned sales reps that want to do it their way, or folks that just haven't really bought on to e-commerce being the next way of ordering for your business. But see it through. Make sure that you're doing the things that can impact you in this role, whether it's the YouTube videos, getting an intern, or hiring somebody to ride along with your sales reps. Because the folks that aren't comfortable with it, if you're providing them a resource, in most cases they want that help, and so we saw a lot of success there. Do not wait for perfection. Okay, we went live on December 12th, 2016. There was functionality that wasn't working the way it was supposed to. I do have to give credit to my project manager and support team. Even along the journey of 2017, there's ups and downs, and just making sure your lines of communication and you're communicating, your business needs and what the customer needs with the Unilog support team. They've stepped up many times in making sure we're meeting those expectations, but do not wait for perfection. I hear a lot of people say, oh, it took 14 months to build our website. Now we want to do a redesign. To log into the website, find your items, and place an order. It doesn't matter what type of layout or UX or UI you have. If you're able to just engage with your customers and get them comfortable, a redesign, it doesn't matter. You'll be successful in getting that buy-in. I made sure that the family and the ownership management was bought in, that they took this initiative as a serious part of the business. This will be a big portion of the way we acquire customers today and in the next 3 to 5 years, or foreseeable future. And so, for us, the internal buy-in, communicating with everybody internally, it was very important. And again, your website is a salesperson, but it's also a research tool for all the information that a customer needs in their buying journey. And so with that being said, I hope I provided a lot of useful data and hopefully some tips, because at the end of the day, we're making an investment in a platform and we want to see it through to be as successful as it can be. So Scott, I'm going to hand it back to you.
Hey, Mike, thank you. And, as you're going through those final thoughts, I couldn't help but think of sort of an analogy. We talk about the need for that omni-channel, and I apologize for using the industry buzzword, right? But that omni-channel experience and that seamless transition from the physical to the online world. Think about online banking, which I'm sure every single person on this call, I'd be willing to bet, has done online banking and to some extent or the other, right? But we don't call it e-banking, do we? We just call it banking. Right? There's no distinction between if I'm going to the bank's website or my financial institution's website, or I'm going into the branch office. I don't call it e-banking versus banking. And maybe that's how we should be thinking of e-commerce. It's not e-commerce, it's just commerce. It's just another channel. And I think if you can do your best to kind of blur the lines between the two, create that seamless experience between the two, that's where you're going to have success. Real quick, this is not a product pitch, but just for those again who aren't familiar with Unilog, we do provide that e-commerce, or maybe I should just say commerce platform online, as well as the content services. We are an all-in-one e-commerce platform specifically for mid-market B2B companies. We are going to give you soup to nuts, everything you need, from the shopping cart to the search capability, the mobile experience, the content management system, the PIM, the product information management, and the content enrichment that you need to have a successful e-commerce experience. So if you're not familiar with us, please check us out at unilogcorp.com. Let's open this up for questions if we could.
Hey, Scott,
yes.
If you don't mind, I want to say one thing, because I will tell you this. When I sat in at the Infor user group and I saw this slide, for many distributors, and I know for me, when I looked at all of the functionality, the pieces, it's a little overwhelming, right? You're worrying about, do I have people on my team that, do I have enough resources? It seems a little overwhelming. I will say, when it comes to product videos and trainings, being somebody that, 2 people on my team, we were able to ramp up quite quickly in 2017 with all of these different aspects of the platform.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. And I'd actually argue that the other option in a scenario like this is you're going to multiple vendors for all these different capabilities, which really increases your cost and complexity in providing an e-commerce solution to your customers. So to have that kind of turnkey all-in-one platform, I think, is a huge benefit for our customers. Let me jump ahead here and take questions. So if you have any questions right now, please go ahead and text them in via the chat or question panel in your GoToWebinar meeting. And I'm just going to check here. I think I did have one question come in, Mike, from Greg. Greg was wondering, where are you going now? What's kind of your next step to further your e-commerce journey?
Great question, Greg. So we are a food service disposable distributor, right? And so whether it's an executive chef or it's a family-run ice cream stand, I believe that the food service section of our business is going to be a mobile-first business. These folks are on their feet. They're running into meat coolers. They're going into their basement. So what's next for Hill & Marks is we're deploying a mobile app for our customers, and I've already received some interest from some hospitality and restaurant groups that want their executive chefs to be using this. One of the benefits of a mobile app, in our scenario, U.S. Foods is a big distributor for these folks, and so the mobile app that allows for them to add items to a cart in a meat cooler, or have the ability to auto save their cart so that when they get back into their office and they can hop on their 4G or Wi-Fi, they're able to do so. So I'm really, really excited for that portion of our business. I do see it being a mobile first, just like the online banking analogy that you brought up. So the mobile app, the deployment of that this year is going to be big.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a bit of a myth. I think that people think that in the B2B space, obviously in the retail space, mobile's huge, but that it's not as huge in the B2B space. And there's, I'm glad I'm glad that this came up, because the slide we actually didn't have, we had at the end of the deck, and gives us a chance to show it. Boston Consulting Group actually did a study that 50%, half of B2B search queries today are made on smartphones, and they actually expect that figure to grow to 70% in the next 2 years. So I think mobile is, as to your point, it's a huge momentum in the B2B e-commerce space. So thanks for that.
We were just notified that one of our customers, which is a large university, all of the janitors that are in the dorms of their facilities, they're equipped with an iPad, and they have some internal software that they're using, but they're asking vendors, next year, will you be providing a mobile app so that they're able to place orders directly from the bathroom of that dorm? So again, more data, more research pointing towards the mobile app being big.
And we had a question here from Robin. She was wondering, what did you do to make customers part of the implementation process?
Great question, Robin. So as I mentioned, and Scott, if you want to go back to that journey slide at the beginning, with 5 to 10 customers that were, I would consider, complex, where they had functionality, multi-level approvers, maybe some budgeting function. In September of 2016, we reached out to them and set up a working call saying, listen, we're deploying a new website. Here is the functionality that you're using today on our existing platform. I'd like for you to register on our Stage website, and I'd like you to actually use that same functionality with this new platform. And even asking the question, would you be interested? The reception I got and the participation was very high, because here's the other thing. If you have large customers, a lot of these guys don't want to be surprised, right? They want to log in, place the order. The minute you launch a new website, you got to make sure that you're communicating that effectively to them. So for any customers that you would consider complex, I would 60, 90 days out, try to get them onto your Stage website and have them actually play with the functionality.
Terrific. I'd encourage, if there's any other questions, please go ahead and submit them. Mike, one more. I don't know if you can answer this one or not, but we talked a lot about what worked well for you guys in getting increased adoption. Was there anything that didn't work well that you'd suggest people avoid?
Oh, that's actually a great question. I'm trying to think. So you have to be careful in the build phase, right? So especially if you're getting internal buy-in, many times I would have, you need to make sure that the feedback is going to be, feedback that you're going to be able to implement, right? So everybody wants now their website to look like Amazon. Well, many of these websites, Walmart.com, they have all of this crazy functionality, and you have to understand who your customers are. And I think in some cases where we thought, we invited customers to use multi-level approvers, and we spent time going after them, they really just wanted the basic functionality of the website. So in some cases, I think we were a little more eager in getting people to use an enhanced functionality, but at the end of the day, just making sure people are comfortable with the website is what I think was a big win for us.
Okay, terrific. And we have time for one last question here. How did you track the customer service reps spiffs?
So we basically use the back end of Unilog SIM2 to look at the orders template. So we're able to see all of the orders. And then we used Google Sheets. So my digital product specialist created a Google Sheet that allowed for all the customer service reps to kind of have a leaderboard, but it also had a tab where each of those customer service reps on that Google Sheet were to put the account number, the order number, the customer name, email, and notes on whether they placed the order. And at the end of each day, we basically went through that document and we cross-referenced the orders through our ERP and through the SIM, and we were able to track it that way.
All right, thanks for that. Hey, Mike, I do want to thank you again for your time today, as well as everybody else on the call. I hope this was valuable information, good insight from a fellow colleague of yours in the industry and the success that they've had. If you have any questions, you can certainly reach out to Unilog, unilogcorp.com or info@unilogcorp.com. If you have an email, feel free to pick up the phone and call us too. We'll certainly answer. And so check out our website, ask us. And I guess if Mike, if they want to get in touch with you, I'm sure you'd be welcome to any LinkedIn requests. You can find Mike out there. Yeah, Mike Powers at Hill and Marks. I'm sure you can find him on LinkedIn, and he'd be happy to connect with you.
Powers at hillandmarks.com, and then Michael Powers in LinkedIn. And if you guys are going up through this journey and want to have a call, I'd be more than happy to help you.
Terrific. Hey, thank you, everybody. Take care, and best of luck.
Thank you.